Exactly. They make money on this high school. So when they say we're losing money on it, no, they're not. Now the other thing you say is this county's losing a lot of students. Well, folks, let me tell you. Again, they turn this into the state of Virginia. Get it on a computer. It's the superintendent's annual report. For 2008, at the beginning of the 2008 year, Wise County had 6,540 students. Beginning of 2009 year, we had 6,533 students. Yes, we did. We lost 7 kids. Now, of course, we don't know yet. It won't be until the end of the year as to how many we lost at the start of this school year. But obviously, it's stabilized. So when they tell you we're losing a ton of kids and everything, our enrollment has stabilized, and there's a lot more money than we think. Now, please, let some other folks speak up.
That statement, I want to say that the reason we lost some of those kids is because these rumors of consolidation, a lot of them transferred and went to other schools.
You're absolutely correct, Jesse. Absolutely correct. Now, one thing I think we ought to all be aware of with the problems with 2 and 1, and I'd like to thank Fred with what he's done to bring this situation about. I think we all know they're going to threaten to close the pound in Appalachia. And I'm going to ask Mr. Flannery to address the situation, what we might need to do if this happens. Ron?
Thanks, folks. I don't need any applause. I'm not running for office. I'm not trying to get money out of this. I'm not seeking fame or fortune. I'm just you. You're me, I'm you. I'll certainly address that, Harold. I'll take just a minute and try to explain something. I think most of you know, or many of you know, that I used to be director at Linwisco, and they've been in this room a lot, dealt with the town council on public water projects and sewage projects and all kinds of projects over the years. That was my job professionally. So I have a pretty good knowledge of Pound and Pound area, as I do Appalachia and St. Paul and Colburn and all these places. You know, I worked in 3 counties. I worked in 15 different towns. I was involved and very privileged to be involved in a lot of projects. About 4 years ago, I wrote an editorial, and I supported consolidation. And I did so with a lot of trepidation, and I probably didn't win a whole lot of friends in my hometown in Appalachia, probably didn't win a lot of friends in Pound, and I know I didn't win a lot of friends in St. Paul, and they told me about it. But everyone was respectful. No one sent me a pipe bomb or threatened to kill my dog or burn my house down. They said, Ron, you're just wrong. But at least it started a discussion about the need to address something that has been neglected for 20 or 30 years. Everyone in this room knows our high school system has been neglected. Everyone knows that. Everyone understands we're going to have to spend money to build or rebuild. Everyone understands we can't do the same old, same old. I retired. Again, I went ahead and retired, and then I had watched in absolute horror, as you have, to watch the whole process where the Board of Supervisors and the school board have done this mating dance and gone through over 20 different variations of consolidation and different things, and ended up with the dumbest, most moronic plan I would have ever thought of, and that's this 2-on-1. It's one school, folks. So, you know, from the safety of my living room in Big Stone, I found myself in a room with some of my friends because I was urged to be there by some business people. Friends of mine said, we want to try to stop this, will you come down and meet? This was what eventually became CEASE. And I walked in and I said, guys, because it was all Big Stone Gap people, I said, I need to tell you, I said, I'm an unrepentant bulldog. And they said, well, that's okay, we love you, come on in. So we talked about what we were against, and everybody was against the 2-on-1. So then I remember saying, is John Schoolcraft here? Where is John? He's all the way back. Remember John, my other friends with Cease can confirm this. I said, it's not about what we're against, we're all against that. We got to be thinking carefully about what we're for. And what we were for as individuals was kind of all over the map. I walked in and said, well, I was for 3 brand new schools, and I called them Wise West, Wise Central, and Wise East. Somebody else said, well, I want to keep all 6 schools open. And that, of course I said, well, I don't know how we can do that, but I'm willing to listen and learn. And so we had several meetings, and we started adding voices to our meetings. And that's when Rocky's a guy that I knew back years ago. He was on town council and worked with Rocky. And Rocky and I have been friends for a number of years, and I have great respect for him. Never met Harold. Harold came to the meetings. And these 2 guys in particular were there the evening we gathered around and planned. And the plan was this. It was written by Jeff Perry. And we had the documentation on it. It was and what he characterized the perfect plan. That's what he told was the perfect plan. And the perfect plan was this. The perfect plan, and I'm quoting from what he said, would build a new school in Wise. We all said, okay, that's sensible. J.J. Kelly's in bad shape. It would build a new school at Big Stone Gap. And we thought, we probably don't really need a new school. It's in pretty good shape. It could be renovated, but that's his numbers. It would renovate Coburn High School, and it would and it would keep all those schools open, obviously, but it also put a limited amount of renovation money at Appalachia High School and keep it open, and Pound High School and keep it open, and no money at St. Paul and keep it open. I think that's the plan. We found things in the plan that we didn't exactly agree with, things that we thought that were too expensive, and we felt that there wasn't enough money earmarked to Pound and Appalachia. But we embraced this because it was the school superintendent's plan. It was his plan. It wasn't something we made up. It was his plan. And the reason it got killed because there were 2 supervisors who in private meetings, where they do the Noah's Ark method, it's 2 at a time. What we call it. Where they met and 2 supervisors basically said, we're not going to support anything that puts a penny into Appalachian Pound. And that was the end of it. It never really got a full vote. It never really got floated up. It was never given fair consideration, and they slid right through that last option into 2-on-1. So that's what we said we believed in. Now, folks, I am a numbers guy. That's all I ever did in my career. I am less about the emotion and about all this stuff and more about the numbers. And I put my head around this thing, and I could easily accept the numbers of this as logical. You have to deal with the school situation on both sides. What it costs to build something, what it costs to operate. But there is a balance between the 2, and it's not what Don Purdy is telling you in this editorial. This is BS. I mean, it's gold-plated. I mean, I wrote a lot of BS in my career. I can't top this. He should have been on our staff. When he makes statements, and Harold was talking about the fallacy of his argument about the consumer price index, not the composite index. That's a different index. Failure to consolidate schools and school districts will necessitate an increase in real estate and real property taxes. And he goes on and said, this is a $100 million difference. That's a fantasy. It is a pure, unadulterated fantasy. So. If we have to keep these schools open, we'll have to double taxes. We do not need to have taxes raised on those who can least afford it, senior citizens. I'll agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Who might have to choose between paying their real estate taxes or buying medicine. This is nothing but scare tactics. The Committee of 100 may have started with a noble purpose, talk about economic diversification, things like that. They quickly evolved as a group into becoming nothing more than a PR school superintendent and a lapdop. And that's all they're doing here. This is just stuff designed to scare you. Now, if I thought what we're proposing wouldn't work, I wouldn't be here today. I would not stand before you and support anything that would cause your taxes to go up inordinately or my taxes. You know, give us credit, folks. We have some bright people on the committee. Mr. Schoolcraft is an administrator with Alpha Natural Resources. He is a former teacher, assistant principal, and a school board member in West Virginia. Chuck Miller was director of the Redevelopment Housing Authority. And by the way, he sends his regrets. He is very sick today, and he called me, and he sounds very sick. He missed church, and Chuck's a pretty ardent church attender. But we talked this morning, and Chuck is retired as director of the Redevelopment Housing Authority. He's probably one of the most knowledgeable guys I know on public finance. And you guys know my career. We have Alden Wells, who is an amazing person, a pharmacist, a bright, sharp person, and Paige Schoolcraft back there, a former teacher. You know, I am surrounded by a wealth of talented people in this group, as well as other people involved in cities. So we're not just a bunch of guys that got together and make wild and baseless claims. What I think is going to happen to get to the issue, Harold, is I think what you're going to hear now is the cram option. This is another lie. Until things change, thanks to my friend Fred, and until things changed on this whole discussion, this county school system was committed to operate Pound and Appalachia for at least 2 years because they had to, because you can't build a 2-on-1 instantaneously. It'll take a while. It'll take at least 2 years. So they're going to continue to operate these schools. But I guarantee you, when the school board meets on 14th, daggone it, that money just evaporated and is gone. We can't do that now. We're going to have to close them this fall and immediately send these kids to J.J. Kelly and to Powell Valley High School. Folks, that is mean-spirited. It is wrong. It is just awful. And that's all it is. That is hateful. It is using your children and your grandchildren as pawns in a chess game that they're willing to pull out all the stops and win. And I guarantee you and commit to you that CEAS or any other number of organizations and individuals will challenge that in a court of law.
Yeah.
How many folks have been donating financially to us, either directly or indirectly? Thank you. Appreciate it. I want you to know your money is being well spent. Our attorney, Eric Thiessen, is an amazing guy. He's worked very hard. He does not, to find a first-class attorney is not cheap, but you get what you pay for. And he has worked hard. We have methodically built a case, and we have built a case on, and we're holding that in abeyance, and we'll probably have to change modes a little bit as we kind of figure out what the school board is going to do next. But we will stay after them relentlessly. Your money is being used wisely, and we need to continue to use that money. Every penny we have is going into our legal funds.